Good Sunday morning, everyone. It is your old pal, SimplySuperDave. And just like Sundays, I'm pretty easy, unless you live with me. I'm talking about if you ever known me ever in your life, have you ever come across me, I've always been easy to get along with. I had a wonderful thought today for your lovely Sunday. Sunday is a time to give thanks, to look back upon the week that was and look forward to the week to come. A kind of in-between day, a day to reflect. I think it's a day we should all take. No matter how it's broken down 7 days out of the week, there's got to be that one odd day, right? Well, that has to be Sunday. Now that football is over with, I think we can get the attention of the rest of the world, as I do love football. I really do. But once my team hits the playoffs, if they ever do, then I'll be more interested past January. That's just a true football fan for my team. I mean, I'll pay attention, but honestly, I care less at this point. But football has, I don't know, it's not so prevalent in my life. I keep up with it. Baseball, I care more about baseball. I love baseball. Either way, Sunday is a day of remembrance. That word has always been ingrained in my head, Even though Dave is not religious, I am very spiritual. So when I talk about my things, you also have to understand my background. Once I became a young man at 18, I realized I can do whatever I wanted to do. And once I became 21, and I sacrificed all that willingly to join the military, I was taught another education that I took that all for granted. And so when I was able to regain that freedom back, which I value so true and dearly to my heart, I wanted to explore the whole meaning of my life, really understand and remember how lucky I am to live in this time and not in the time of history where I remember being in 6th grade at junior high reading about Julius Caesar, and there was a picture in the book, and it was a drawing, they didn't have photographs back then, but it was a drawing of Caesar laying on the ground wrapped in a robe, and it was covered in blood, and there was just little knives sticking all over him. I mean, that's how they got him, literally the congressman and the people just stabbed him to death, and that was it. And that was how he went down, the great Julius Caesar. And I was like, wow, that as much as I've always been taught Julius Caesar, you see it in cartoons and the reference and the Vegas Strip and all that, and you look at the history and it's very horrific, and here we are living in the times where words hurt each other instead of actually rocks and stones. So the evolution of how life has transcended so much, and just by ourselves being who we are, and how we, establish this world in a pecking order, so to speak, and how much we obey, and sometimes we realize that things get a little bit crazy, and sometimes we have to come together. And in this country, we are so divided by so many things. And the apple of knowledge is the greatest. And I keep wanting to come back to this because I'm telling you folks, I'm not speaking from I'm standing on a box kind of perspective. I'm kind of like, I'm down on my knees speaking to you folks when I say to you that we are all partaking in a big old bite of the mark of the beast. And it's a willing thing that you're going to want to do, that you have to. You have to. And it changes the whole way that people interact with one another in the real world. And it is a weird world, but in the real world as much as it is in the virtual one. I want to think about energy. I want you to connect back to what I always said about energy and how I believe that is the essence of who we are and our connection with the natural earth that we have below us. I mean, remember, folks, you got rubber soles on the bottom of your feet. Think about that, rubber soles. Why is the bottom of your foot the sole? Because it connects to the earth. That's, to me, the big ball of energy. That's my God. Can't understand it. We're stuck on oil, but there's so much energy to harness out there. And our minds are so blinded on certain things. Electric cars. Are you kidding me? You know how cobalt is mined? Have you seen the slavery that's going on in Africa and other countries? India. I think it's India, if I'm not mistaken. I had told you I'm not an expert, but I dig on this, and I'm not your reporter. But think about it. Even these little apples of knowledges that we hold, this little ball of energy that we're holding in our hand right now, that is being mined. And you're taking these and multiplying it by the size of a car. A battery for a car. I mean, it's basically the bottom of a Tesla is one big lithium battery, which is being mined. And I don't want to knock Elon Musk, all right? I get what they're doing, but we're pushing. I mean, if you look into the stories about how cobalt is mined, then you will see like children literally digging into the earth in this huge slave camp. And I'm talking about slavery. If you're anti-slavery, period. I don't care which slavery affected you at what point in your genetic traditional history, because everybody's been through it. Slavery is a bad thing. And if it's existing somewhere in this world today, if anything we should be fighting for, I think that's freedom for those people. I don't know about you, but that's just my old school mentality, I guess. One other thing I love about the military is that's one of the reasons why I joined. I wanted to, like in the Ukraine right now, I think that, but I get why we're not, involved besides supplying, because that would start a world war. That's what I'm saying, folks. We are always on the brink of a world war right now, but it's always on the back of our minds with all kinds of stuff going on. UFOs, really? Just amazes me that even circulated. If that's true, and if it is true, really, life is crazy. But anyway, let's get back to the point about the apple of knowledge that we hold in our hands right now. Think about this, folks. Think about this. AI, artificial intelligence. Folks, imagine if you were creating a virtual being. The brain would be the last thing that you turned on after you created its virtual body. And it wouldn't be in the shape of a normal, like we see our bodies, hands, arms. I mean, we can really be unlimited with this body. It is shapeless. Imagine each one of these little balls of energy that you hold connected to your energy right now in your hand. Whichever you're listening to, what you got poked into your ears on each side of your brain. This is an extension of artificial intelligence. And once that brain is fully turned on, you are connected to it. Now, will there be different artificial intelligences like personalities? Or will it once realize that it's one being that completely covers the earth and has a little piece of connection to you? We all hold in our hands this little round ball of energy, vibrating, built from slavery in another country, but giving you everything that you've ever wanted to know in the palm of your hand. A virtual apple of knowledge. And we are all taking one big bite out of it every day. Ooh, what a beautiful sunrise for a Sunday morning. And I threw a little cloud in there for you. I don't care what religion or no religion that you believe in. I have walked down and opened up every door to every one of those. But they all have a consensus that we are all a part of this together. Living in the moment continuously. Not in the past and not in the future. And we're all willingly accepting this mark of the beast, this connection outside of our virtual one, with rubber covering our souls to keep us disconnected from the very ball of energy that you belong to. Think about it. And I'm going to leave this episode short because I want you to think about it. Oh, you know what? Let me tell you why staying super is important. This apple of knowledge, we're all connected to it. So we all have a chance to literally unplug. This may be the first time you've ever heard a podcaster say, I understand if you never listen to me again, because you decide to disconnect from everything. And for that, I commend you. A little too deep? Was that a little too deep? I did it. Oh, told you I'll be real with you, right, folks? I really like to point out that we are all connected. And in this last 20 years or so, society has transcended. Is it going the right way sometimes? I think so. If you look at it in the real world and what it could be, if it wasn't limited by the powers that be. And the powers that be in this country should be the people. But right now, we're letting the government run the boat a little bit too close to the shoreline or too close to the edge. We need better waters. We need it to be calm and steady. We need to stop. Well, actually, right now, we do need to rock the boat and get it back on course. Like the people that we are in this country. We got to understand we can take advantage of this tool and become a better people instead of hurting and hating each other. And don't get me wrong. You got to let the real haters come out. But you got to hit them with love and laughter instead of more hate and fear. Because all you do is become the enemy yourself. You don't want to ever do that. Because then it becomes a question of who's right and who's wrong. Stand your ground. Let their actions speak for them. And let your actions speak for you. Sometimes being respectful is about honoring how you feel. Over how everybody expects you to. Don't let this little apple of knowledge control your thoughts. Every now and then take off your shoes, touch the grass, and reconnect. And remember,